All right, welcome to problem solving. I hope you did okay on the independent practice and got enough under your belt there. Now let's take a look at some of these real life word problems and let's work it out together. I'll give you time to work on it, pause the video, come on back, we'll take a look at it together. But let's read this thing together first. For number 10 on page 247, it says there are 4 people in Sarah's family and 6 people in Mike's family. Both families buy the same size carton of milk to share equally. How much milk do Sarah and Mike each get? Who gets more milk? Explain your answer. Wow. Okay. Lots of information here. What do we know? Sarah's family has 4 people. Mike's family has 6 people. Okay, so Sarah's family has 4. And Mike's family has 6. And they both share the same size carton of milk. Ha! They have to share equally within their family. So I'm going to draw a rectangle to represent, oh, you know what? I'm not going to draw anything right now because you need to work on this first, right? But let's continue looking through here and so you can get started. They have to share that equally. So what you need to find out is how much do Sarah and Mike each get? And then also, who gets more milk? Okay, so I want you to work on this for a little bit. Pause the video, and then when you're ready, come on back, and then I'll work it out, and we'll see how well we compare with each other. Pause the video now. Okay, now let's take a look at this. Being that we know that they share the same size carton of milk, we know that Sarah's family has 1 carton of milk, and I'll make that into a rectangle, and Mike's family has the same size carton of milk. That's close enough, right? Okay, so we've got Sarah's family and we have Mike's family. Now it says Sarah's family has 4 people in it, and if they share this milk equally, I think we better divide Sarah's milk carton into 4ths, right? 4 equal parts, 1 for every family member. So I'm going to divide this into half, half again, and half again over here. And now we have 4ths. So each section is 1/4, right? 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. There we go. Now, on Mike's family, it looks like Mike has a few more people in their family. They have 6 people. They have to share this milk carton equally amongst 6 people. So we want to divide that up into 6ths. So I'll divide that in half. And then each side will get 3. So I'll go 1, 2. There's 1, 2, 3 pieces. 1, 2, and 3 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each one represents a 6th. And I don't think I can draw that small. Oh, look at that. 1/6. 1/6. I should have made this bigger, huh? 1/6. All right. So, how much milk do Sarah and Mike each get? Well, Sarah is just one member of the family, right? So she's gonna get 1/4. And we could represent that right here with 1 out of the 4. Mike, he's one of 6 people. He's just one person. So he gets 1 out of the, 1 out of the 6 pieces, or he gets 1/6. The second question says, who gets more milk? Well, the numerator is the same, 1 against 1. So we can look at the denominator and say, well, I know that in fractions, the smaller the denominator, the bigger the piece. So 4 is smaller than 6. So Sarah must get a bigger amount of milk compared to Mike. So I would say 1/4 is greater than 1/6. For number 11, you're going to be asked to write to explain. So you're going to explain your reasoning in writing. Let's take a look at the real life problem you're working on. It says Lee ran for a half hour on Monday, 1/3 of an hour on Tuesday, and 1/4 of an hour on Wednesday. On which day did Lee run for the most amount of time? Now, when you're asked to explain, it's not just to say, give me the answer. Which day did he run the most amount of time? Of course, you need to say that, but you want to explain, how do you know that? Okay, so I want you to think about that. See if you can come up with the answer the best you can. Pause the video, and then come on back when you think you have some work done, and then I will model for you kind of how I went about it, and we'll see how we compare with each other. Pause now. Okay, so I see that Lee ran for a half an hour on Monday, 1/3 of an hour on Tuesday, and 1/4 of an hour on Wednesday. So I'm looking at 1/2 compared to 1/3 compared to 1/4. Now, how I would go about this is I would say the numerators are all the same. So I want to make sure that that's the first thing you look at. If the numerators are all the same, then you can look at the denominator and find the smallest denominator, which will give you the biggest piece, right? So in this case, 2 is the smallest out of all of them. So it looks like half will be the biggest amount. And Lee ran that on Monday. So what we could say is that Lee ran the longest on Monday. Okay. All the fractions have the same numerator. So I looked for the smallest denominator. And I ran out of room, so I'm going to abbreviate. Okay? And that's kind of an example of how to answer it. Just trying to explain your thinking of how you figured out the longest fraction. All right, let's move on to number 12. Here, let's read this. An apple pie and a blueberry pie are the same size. Okay, same size pies. The apple pie is cut into 3 equal pieces. The blueberry pie is cut into 4 equal pieces. Maria has 1 piece of apple pie. Hamza has 1 piece of blueberry pie. Who has the smaller piece? All right. Guys, I want you to draw some pictures, come up with the answer, And so pause the video, do that, and then when you're done, come on back, and let's see if your answer compares to mine. Pause now. All right, let's take a look at this. It says the apple pie and blueberry pie are the same size. Very important. So I'm going to draw 2 circles to represent my 2 pies. There's 1 circle. Man, circles are really hard to draw the same size, aren't they? I'll try that again. We'll get as close as we can. Okay, that's close enough. One is apple, and the other one is blueberry, A and B. It says the apple pie is cut into 3 equal pieces. So I'm hoping that you didn't do this, guys. You don't go 1, 2, 3, okay? Are those equal pieces? I don't think so. This covers much more area than this or this. So when we're dealing with circles, we've got to be careful with how we divide them up. So we need to think about going from the center and working our way out. And when you're dividing up into thirds, there's your center. It's kind of tough, but it kind of makes a peace sign. I don't know if you've ever seen that before. Like that. And now you've got 3 reasonably the same size pieces. We're going to go with that, okay? Now the other one says it was cut into 4 equal pieces. Once again, thinking of the center. With 4 pieces a little easier, I can cut this right down the middle in half. And then I can go horizontal and cut that down the middle in half. And now I've got 4. So it says Maria has 1 piece of apple pie. So Maria got 1 piece of the apple pie. And when we're thinking 1 out of 3 pieces, that's 1/3. Okay. Now Hamza had 1 piece of blueberry pie. I'm going to go blue. 1 piece of blueberry pie. Okay. And for that, we're talking 1 out of 4, right? So that's 1/4. So here we are comparing 1/3, which was Maria, and 1 against 1/4, which is Hamza. Which one had the smaller piece of pie? Well, it's so nice when you draw pictures because you can see it. But even if you didn't draw the pictures, you could take a look and say, all right, we've got the numerator is 1 and 1, so that's the same numerator. So we're comparing 1 piece against 1 other piece. So now let's look at the denominator. And in fractions, the smaller the number in the denominator, the bigger the piece. This one's only been divided up into 3 pieces as compared to dividing up into 4 pieces. So who got the smaller piece? Miss Hamza. She did. So we could say 1/3 is larger or greater than 1/4. And so remember, what question were you asked? Who has the smaller piece? Not the larger piece, the smaller piece. You always got to look at what the question is. All right, let's move on to number 13.